What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Refinement. My name is Chris. I've been reselling a long time and I've sold lots of things. Today is July 4th, 2022, and today I want to talk about why resellers should take off July 4th. Now, this is going to sound weird because a lot of people think I work a lot, but I think I take at least 200 days a year off. And I recommend a minimum of 120 days a year off, which is more than 1/3 of the month, 1/3 of the year. So the way that you want to organize that is there's a method to my madness. I recommend that you list 30 items a day in 3 hours or less. And the reason why I recommend that is because a lot of things come up. You might want to spend time with your family on the weekends. You might want to cook dinner. You might want to do all these things in your life that you aspire to do. Or maybe you just want to relax most of the day. So I recommend if you want to relax most of the day, you don't want to worry about money. And if you're making $300 a day, in my opinion, and you live on less than half, you can be okay. Depending on where you live in America, $300 a day, you can live a decent life, in my opinion. And I think that most people think that all I talk about is work, but I think that that's total. My message has not been coming across because my goal is for you guys to get your work done in as little time as possible, so you have time to do other things. So make sure you throw in the chat what you want to work on. Today is July 4th. I have plenty of activities planned. I still did my mastermind call in the morning. I still cooked breakfast for my family, ate breakfast with my family, came here. We are going to film 2 videos today. We already filmed 1. After this, we'll try to knock out 1 more video. We're going to do a Q&A. Then I spend the rest of the day with my family. I'm still going to have time to exercise. I still have time to go buy a ladder at Home Depot. I mean, there's so much time that you can fit into the day. And I think people need to understand. I think people totally underestimate what they can do in one day. The results don't happen in one day, but you can knock out a lot of stuff. If you give me half an hour that I don't have to deal with a screaming baby or change her, or there's just so many things that distract you from getting work done. If you give me 1/2 an hour of uninterrupted time, I can do some damage. I can definitely get a lot done. So I want people to really think about when you don't take time off, you don't understand how valuable your time is. People who work 7 days a week, 365 days a year, a lot of resellers fall into that bucket. They're inefficient all day long. You have no idea what it's like to be completely done with your work. So in that post on my community channel, I'm psyched. That lady said that 15 listings used to take her all day, and now she's done before 8 a.m. That's insane. Imagine your spouse, like you're supporting the family with your 15 a day eBay habit, and that's $150 a day. And it used to take you all day, and now you're done at 8 in the morning. You can now hang out with I don't even know if you want to hang out with your spouse that long. 8 hours from like 8 a.m. till, let's say you stay up till 10, 14 straight hours with your family. I think that might even be too much. So I think it's important to understand taking time off is something you need to understand is imperative. And it's not a day that's just made up by society. You can take breaks every day. I take breaks every day. People ask, like, when do you use the bathroom? Whenever I feel like it. When do you have lunch? Whenever I'm hungry. I just do it. You don't have to, like, getting stuff done doesn't require an exact to-the-second schedule. It just requires a few things that you need to get done that day and needs to be outlined. So Christy actually made me a list of things that cause people to procrastinate. And one of it is just not being organized. They don't know what they need to do that day. So it's important for you to take some time, sit down with a notebook and figure it out what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Christine and I just made a Skillshare course to help you make a schedule. All this stuff is designed to help you get more out of your day. That's the whole reason I'm doing this. And for me, part of my day is I want to help other people get more out of their day. So that's why I'm making this YouTube channel. Hopefully we have some questions.
Happy 4th of July, everyone. Some people are saying no days off.
I know. It's like I kind of have no days off, and I'm kind of off every day because I do whatever I want. Today I decided memes because I'm good. So like you can do whatever you want. Yesterday it was kind of a joke. I did a whatnot stream with just 2 items, and I was like just kind of joking, saying like, I'm gonna call after this listing if I don't get enough money, and I did. I don't have to work. I think that's something that only happens when you know how to work. Because that sounds so crazy. If you want to not work, you've got to be really good at work so that you can have that extra time off. I think for me to pay my bills, I would have to work on, I'm not on eBay anymore, but if I was on eBay, it would take me 50 minutes a day to pay my bills. If I didn't have any overhead, I was just at home, I could knock out, I think, like 17 listings a day, which is what I need to pay all my bills. I could wake up at 6 and I don't have any of this other stuff. No YouTube, none of that. Just wake up and do my listings. I would literally be done at like 6 in the morning because I get up at 5. So I don't even know what to do. I have 15 hours. I could learn how to play 12 different musical instruments if I really wanted to do that. I have plenty of time. So it's important. I want you guys to get more out of life. We're only going to be here. We don't even know how long we're going to be here. Not that long.
There's a question that says, I purchased the membership. How long does it take to approve? Thank you.
It takes up less than a day usually. And people sort of like, it doesn't take very long. Go to patreon.com/resellers podcast, sign up. This morning I approved everybody from the last day. So I check multiple times a day. So it should take at most 1 business day. So sometimes on the weekend I'm busy sourcing or shipping or something, and it's going to take me a little bit of time, but it's going to take you less than 1 business day.
A question from Reserved. What is the cost of stock insurance? At what level should you get it?
You should always have general liability insurance as soon as you start a real business, because something might happen and you might want to cover some equipment being stolen, water damage, flood damage, fire damage. A little bit of general liability insurance is great. They will not cover the full cost of your inventory. So like as an example, this pair of Air Force Ones, it's difficult to say what an insurance company would actually pay you. This is a pair of South Korea Air Force Ones. The retail price is $140, right? The StockX price is like $200. And if I were to post this on auction right now, it would sell for like $40. So what is the value of the shoe? Is it $40 right now? Is it $200 in the future? It's very difficult to get insurance on items like this. That's why an insurance company might just say, we'll give you a general policy, but not for your inventory. If you sell brand new items, they will not pay you retail. If you buy this brand new from Nike and you have an invoice and these shoes come to you for $70 a pair, that's what the insurance company will pay you. They will not pay you the retail. So they're going to pay you what it costs to replace it, even if it goes up. So it's very difficult to get inventory insurance. You can really only get inventory insurance on brand new items, and I would get it day one. It's very inexpensive.
2 questions from Pearl. Should I avoid returns on high-value items that can be scams? And can you elaborate on the Patreon videos that ends mid-July?
Sure. I would not sell anything over $100 if you're just starting, because why put yourself through that headache? Just sell common items. My entire channel is about selling common items frequently. If you want to put yourself through torture, then sell items that people frequently scam. Just sell PlayStation 5 only, right? Make sure that you use stock photos so eBay doesn't know if you have it or not. Have the shortest description as possible. Just put brand new PS5, right? Just put the title Sony PlayStation 5. Put no returns and charge 50% of retail. That's like a guaranteed recipe to get suspended because nobody does that. So to prevent scams, don't sell items that are high in the scam category. Avoid electronics in the beginning until you have things put in place to avoid that. So let me give you guys an example. My friend Prince used to sell GoPros. He would sell 15 a day. 15 a day on average, he would get scammed twice. Okay, that's a lot. Do you have the gonads to get a $300 return twice a day? Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? I don't think so. Like his personality, like he could get hit by a bus and his heart rate wouldn't increase, because when you get kicked in the nuts for $300 every single day for multiple years, you develop a stamina. If you're worried about returns, then don't sell high-end stuff because it's brutal. What was the second part of the question?
Can you elaborate on the Patreon videos?
Okay, so Tech and Sports and I just made a white paper section. So what that is we narrowed down everything. How to list in under 1 minute without a VA, without any BS. Just you learn how to list under 1 minute, photos under 1 minute, shipping under 1 minute. We went over all the promotional outlines. So the eBay white paper is what we called it. It's a 10-part series on how to do eBay the fastest way, cleanest way, least defects, most pictures. So when we talk about the fastest way, we mean every single keyword optimized, 10 or more photos, every single item specific filled out, accurate condition description, accurate description, best price, best shipping, best return policy, best way to store your items, all that stuff. So that's normally going to be $400, but this month only, anyone that signs up this month or earlier in the that's currently an active member will get the whole thing for 35 bucks. And we're going to update it once a month now. There's been some confusion on that. We're not changing the material once a month. We're just updating it if it's necessary. If eBay says the promotional listing rate or the promoted listings is now 2% minimum instead of 1%, we just update that part. So we're not changing anything. It's already been figured out. eBay has been figured out the fastest way to do it. If it takes you longer than 1 minute to list, photograph, or ship, then it's taking too long. And there's ways to do it faster. So I'm going to make a really, really powerful video shortly talking to you guys about why resellers get caught up. And it's because, I'll just go over it a little bit right now. Every single thing works on a small scale. That's why it's confusing. Somebody will say, I only take one picture. It doesn't matter. The title doesn't matter. The description doesn't matter. I don't need any returns. I charge $500 for shipping. Doesn't matter. And they can be successful because maybe they're selling a bar of gold that's worth $16,000 for $500, right? Maybe you don't need anything. Maybe you just put bar of gold, one picture, and it sells. But what we're showing you guys is the maximum way to do it, to try to get as much money as possible and how to actually run a resale business. So I'm showing you guys like, there's more to it than just finding something for cheap and reselling it. That you don't need to buy anything for. You can just start at your house.
Zach says, hi Chris, I recently graduated uni and took my eBay business to the next level.
Nice.
I started promoting my listings more and got loads more sales, but my sales conversion is dropping hard. What should I do?
Okay, this is great. The sales conversion is going to drop because promoted listings shows your listings to people that don't want it. So let me give you guys an example. Snickers bar. I think you have those in the UK or wherever you are calling from. A Snickers bar is in the candy section, right? So if you go to a store, you want a Snickers bar, you can walk to the candy section and it will be there. The conversion is going to be very high. You want it, it's going to be essentially one impression. The click-through is going to be somebody picking up the candy bar, and the sell-through rate is going to mean they check out of it when they go to the checkout line. The only thing that would prevent that is when you get to the checkout line, you don't have enough money. That would be the only reason you abandon the cart, right? So that's one click, one impression, one click-through, one sale. Now, Snickers also has their bars all over the store. They might have one in the furniture section. That's what a promoted listing is. So, of course, your impressions and click-through would go way up and your conversion would go way down because somebody looking for a sofa doesn't buy a Snickers bar very often. So if you want to keep your conversion super duper high and that's something you're concerned about, don't turn on promoted listings because essentially you're getting lower quality traffic. People who don't want your item are being presented your item. So don't worry about conversion, just worry about total sales. Total sales.
Mike says, do you set a daily time limit for listing?
This is gonna sound weird, but list as much as I can. So I have like a certain amount of time. Over the weekend, we had around 1,750 sales. I just did as many as I could. Literally, like I have to go pick up my daughter at around 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I do as many listings as I can till 3:59. Like I literally work as much as I can in the window that I have because I have a hard cutoff. I can't list while I'm driving to pick her up, and then right now is in this developmental stage that I want to spend every second with her. You guys that are on the morning call see my personality change when I'm hanging out with her. Why would I miss that? So I'm trying to get like as much as possible, but okay, here's the important part. I really don't miss days. Like the reason why the 4th of July to me is the same as every other day is because you can do whatever you want every day. You don't need permission from the government to not work on a certain day. You can take breaks whenever. So, what was the question again?
Do you set a daily time limit?
Yeah, so I don't set a daily time limit, but I set a minimum goal. So I'm looking for me personally, The minimum I want to do is $4,000 a day. And I'll tell you why. This is kind of an interesting thought. I don't know what you guys agree or not, but like my overhead for staff is around $400 a day. So I want to have 10 times that amount because the daily refinement secret sauce in my brain is 10% of the total revenue is the cost of the labor, right? So that's why I think a lot of people hire too soon. If you're only making $500 and you hire someone for $100, that you don't have enough room to do that yet. So if you're making $1,000, sure, $100 doesn't affect you. You can afford some help. But in my brain, that's the minimum. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, 5 days a week is $2,000. I have to have a minimum of $20,000 a day in sales. So each day I show up to work Monday through Friday, I have to list at least $4,000 worth of stuff. So that's how I look at it. Yeah.
Lucky says, if you ship multiple items in 2 boxes at once, how do you add the dimensions on eBay? Do you just stack them both together and add the dimensions, or how do you ship?
You have to ship them separately. If you have 2 separate packages, you will see this on Amazon. Sometimes you'll buy 2 packages and they will tape them together. So that's essentially one package if you tape it together and you use the dimensions of this new super box. But if you ship 2 different packages, you have to use 2 separate labels, so it would be 2 separate things. I recommend Frankenboxing, which means like you combine these 2 like this and turn it into a transformer box. It's only legit when the post office materials are not flat rate. So you cannot combine medium flat rate, large flat rate. They have to be non-flat rate priority boxes. And that's why you'll see I don't use any non-flat rate for my whatnot business. But on eBay, I use flat rate all the time. Padded flat rate, medium flat rate, small flat rate, large flat rate. Game board boxes are now out of stock, but those are really good when they were around.
How do you get different shipping labels, like 2 different shipping labels?
So I made a short link for everybody. It's bit.ly/free USPS supplies. But you can just Google USPS.com, go there, and then look in their free supply section, look under the priority section, and you'll be able to order free supplies from the post office. Yeah.
Neko says, is there an efficient way of trying to figure out the box I need when I have many products that have different sizes? Or do I focus on measuring the bulk number of products at once?
That's a great question. I've memorized the box that all my items come in, so I would just know that's this box, that's this box. But how I would organize it is in order of dimensions by smallest to biggest. So I would put the smallest box on the left side all the way to the right, and you can put either a picture of what the items are or the dimensions on your shipping rack so that you can go, okay, this is 4x8, would fit in 4x10, but wouldn't fit in 4x6. So if you have all that set up visually, you'll be able to do it. I've seen people color code, which is really cool, where like, it's going to require a bigger store, but like all pink items go in here, all blue items go in here, and they have a little sticker when they're listing so they remember when they're doing the listing what to put in the dimensions. I personally enter the dimensions and wait in during shipping and not during the listing process.
Mohammed says, hi, it's hard to list every day 25 items. I sell shoes and there are 12, 15, 16, 18, and 24 pairs in the box. I list items with the variations. Could you please give some suggestions, please?
Sure. So I would never work 7 days a week ever. I never have. So what I would do is I'd probably do 25 times 7 is 175. Is that right? So I would probably list 40 to 50 shoes 5 days a week. So in case I had a day where I couldn't list, it's fine because I do extra credit the other days. For the variation listing, I would do both. I would list one variation, 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5, 10, 10.5, 11, 12, full thing, all one listing, all different sizes. That's going to get a better rank each time one sells, right? Also, if I have more than one quantity of the shoe, I will individually list them. One size 8, one size 8.5, one size 9. So I can get more vertical real estate. So somebody might search Air Force 1, size 12, and my listing might come up twice, once in the variation listing and once in the single listing. And shoes are very, very easy to list. Take under 3 minutes. So that's including research. Without research, shoes take less than 1 minute to list. So 25 pairs a day on average. I personally would list 50. So 50 shoes a day would take me just under 3 hours. I would do that 5 times a week. So 15 hours a week of listing shoes. And what I would do is just sit down, do all of them at once, take all the pictures at once, list all at once. And that's how we do the shoes here. To give you an idea of the pace of my girls, they're listing on average 220 pairs a day. So your 25 a day listing, they would just do in one day and take the other 6 days off. So that's how we would do it. All the photos at once, all the listings at once. That's what we teach in the group.
Pearl has another question.
What's up?
There's a lot of videos stating that Goodwill is overpriced now. What should I be paying at the bins?
Don't worry about those types of videos because, I mean, I do that too. I'm guilty of clickbait, but those prices are always going to increase. Here's the thing that's interesting. Cost of goods, right, which is what the items cost to resell. So this shirt, cost of goods, wholesale is around $15 to $20. It retails for $29. I'm sorry, $59. $59 retail. The wholesale cost is like $15 to $20. I got these at a closeout sale for $8, right? And at the bins, this is about 8 ounces. So here it's like $2.50 a pound. I don't know, guys, throw in the chat how much it is per pound at your Goodwill bins. I think here it's either $2.50 or $2.79 a pound. This would cost like $1.50 at the bins. So at a certain point, you can't get it any cheaper. Okay, so like if your bins is $3 a pound, you're not going to get it for $2 a pound, so don't worry about it. The cost of goods can only be negotiated so low. So of course, the cost of thrift stores are going to go up because gas is more expensive, rent's more expensive. Everything's going to continue to go up. So you can't focus that much on the cost of goods part. If you're shopping at the bins, you're already getting a good deal. Like, you can't get it cheaper than a couple bucks.
Bob says, hi Chris, do you have any sellers in the group that sell diecast cars?
Yes, this morning we were talking about diecast cars, Hot Wheels. But diecast cars is the same as any category. It's just that the thing that would be only a little bit different is the storage. So I would go to Monday. Michael's off today, but every Monday we have a toy call, toy specific call. So come to the Monday call, ask Mike. His storage system is insane. It can store any kind of toy. So Monday, toy call, that call is excellent. Diecast cars is a great category. Main thing with diecast cars, in my opinion, is you need a larger storage because the sell-through rate takes a little bit longer. And I would want to give diecast cars, in my opinion, 1 year to sell. I wouldn't rush it because you want to find the right customer. If you rush it, you're not going to get enough money for them, in my opinion.
John says, hi, do you use eBay's marketing tools, newsletters, coupons, sales, etc. to boost sales and or activity?
Bro, this is like, I used all of them. There's 10 different eBay promotional things that you can use, and I used all of them because I want all the sales. So in our white paper, Tech and Sports does an overview of all 10 in a row, but we talk about that constantly. Before I go over what they are, remember, promotions are just extra sauce, okay? Extra credit. You should be able to get enough sales without promoted listings. Like the Snickers bar example I gave earlier. If you list a Snickers bar in the candy section, it should sell automatically. The promotions, there's a lot of them. There is offer to watcher. That's maybe the most effective. Offer to watcher, there's sales event plus markdown, there's an order discount, there's a shipping discount. I used the volume discount as well. There's also buyer groups, there's public and private coupons. I hope I'm getting them all. There's promoted listings. I think that's all of them. There's a lot. So I used all of them because you want to give every single opportunity to the customer to buy an item. You also want to be top rated seller. You also want free returns and 1 day handling or less so that you qualify for the top rated seller discount on your final value fee, which pays for everything. So remember, the average person on eBay is taking like 9 days to ship. If you ship 1 day or less, eBay will reward you heavily reward you.
Alabama Flips says, any advantage to pre-package your items where they just need the shipping label to to be shipped when they sell. I'm thinking more of one-off items where no combined shipping would be needed.
Sure. So shout out to Chris, Bonafide Hustler. He has what he calls a box wall. And it looks like, can they see this?
Yeah.
Okay. The box wall is all the items, and it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everything is prepackaged, ready to go. That's a great way to do it because you already know the weight, dimension, size. We did that. So we did 100 sales, and all the items are already prepackaged in that scenario. There's other scenarios where we have to package the items one at a time, but I highly like the box wall. Box wall is a fantastic way to do it.
Mary Bruce says, hi, I sell common clothing brands. Average sell price $15, which gives me a $10 profit. Some days I sell 6 items and the next day 2. Any idea why? I'm listing every day.
That's great. So this question is fantastic. Please smash the like button. Consider subscribing because this answer hopefully will make you feel better. My sales ranged 40 to 50 sales a day different. Okay, so I averaged, when I was on eBay, I averaged $6,700 a day in sales. The variance in sales was oftentimes several $1,000s and up to 40 or 50 items different, meaning I would sell like 78 items one day, 178 items the next day, 80 items the next day, 110 items the next day. Never, ever in the entire time I've been doing eBay have I had the same number of sales each day. We talk about reseller nirvana, but it's an average. So if you list 10 a day on average for an entire year and you're doing the right thing, you'll sell around 10 items a day. But it will never be 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. It doesn't work that way. If you flip a coin, it's never head, tails, head, tails, head, tails, head, tails. It doesn't work like that. It might literally be, I think the world record, I think it's like 47 heads in a row. Okay, so like that can happen with reselling. You could go 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. It can happen. It depends on the seasonality of your item. And everyone has had a day where they list 10 and 4 sell, and the next day they list 10 and 0 sell. So it's just an average. The variance can be 20 to 40 to 60 to 80 different. So it's important to have your store large enough. That's why I recommend 30 sales, 30 a day. Because at 30 a day on a bad day, you still have 10. Right? So that's why I recommend the smaller eBay under 10. I never recommend for anybody because your emotions are so wild. One day you sell 10, one day you sell 0. Like there's nothing even wrong with your store. So I personally don't like drama. I want my emotions to stay the same. So doing anything on a small scale terrifies me. Like honestly, I don't like when things are small, one thing, like this is, I just moved into a new house and my wife was like, God, every time you leave this door open. And I'm like, we've been here for like 3 days. Every time I leave this door open, I think you've only walked by this door 7 times since we lived here. And 1 time it was open, or 2 times. I don't even know how many times, but that is too small of a sample size, right? I'm like, talk to me after we've been living here for a month at least, right? And I didn't even, like, this is where I don't want, that's where you, basically people overreact. That's not a valid concern. That's just, in my opinion, that's the same. 6 sales a day and 2 sales a day. On a day-to-day basis, there's no difference.
So list 30 a day because you'll at least get 10 sales.
Yeah, on a bad day. If you list 30 a day and average 30 a day, it will never be 30.
Right.
It's going to be 28, 40, 12, 19, and that's just how it works. Unless magically you have the same number of customers every day, which it doesn't work like that.
Thrift and Sista says, do you think it's possible to net 250,000 net solo without dying? That's my ultimate goal. Taking baby steps now to get to 100,000 net. Thanks for everything.
250 a day is, let's see, that's like 600. Okay, let's break it down. 250 a day, there's like 224 working days a year. So you'd have to make like $1,000 a day profit. Just like every normal $250,000 a year job, those types of jobs usually are not 9 to 5. If you're making more than $250,000 a year, usually you're working a 7 to 7. That's just my experience, okay? I don't know that many people who make $250,000 or more and don't work 12 hours a day. It's uncommon. So that being said, in that 12-hour day, you'd have to pump out $100 profit an hour to comfortably make $250,000 a year. So depending on how fast you are at listing, I think it's around 100 a day. If you were able to list 100 a day, you could comfortably make $250,000 a year. It's not that hard in a sense that mathematically, it's 100 a day is definitely doable in about, I would say, 8 hours. Okay, so 8 hours a day of listing, organizing, prepping, shipping, putting things away, totally doable. Now, this is the part that's difficult. Maybe write this down. Everybody write this down. Do you have a reliable way to acquire your items? That's really the key. If so, the $250,000, no problem, because that's just you listing, processing, putting things away, shipping, customer service, no problem. Now, if it's variable, we don't know what we're getting, then no, not reasonable. You will 100% fail because it takes too long to get the items in. This is why so many people stop at 400,000 gross. So I'll give you as an example. Shout out to Osborne to Thrift. I think his name is Matt. What's Osborne to Thrift's name? Don? Maybe it's Don. Osborne to Thrift. You'll see his sales chart, right? Very, very difficult to go above $1,000 a day on average, which would be 400K. I would guess, looking at his Instagram, he makes between 100 and 150,000 profit a year. Very difficult to go from the 150 to 250 without the items being the same. It's around 1 million, I would say, in gross sales to make 250,000. Solo, that's very difficult. I've only seen 20 people do that this entire time I've been talking about eBay, including Tech and Sports, who did it. I think for multiple years he was doing 1 to 1.2 solo, and all his other businesses and being a single parent. There's a lot built into it, but sort of like the if you want something done, give it to a busy person kind of mentality. Mm-hmm. Did they say what his name is? You guys know? I forgot his name.
Someone says Tim.
Tim, that's right. Okay, Osborne to Thrift, Tim. So it would be very difficult for Tim, in my opinion, to make $250,000 a year because there's too much variance in what he sells. Can he make a six-figure living? No problem. But like, there's a big difference between six-figure and 250. Very big difference, because like, how many people do you guys know, put in the chat, that make over 250? It's freaking rare. Okay, I just don't see it. So it's not that common.
A couple comments I'd like to highlight. So Picker says, I'm a PE teacher, part-time reseller, new dad, and YouTube content creator.
I love
Managing my time better because of your advice. Working the late hours on my YouTube content, and it's starting to grow. Thank you.
I love it. I'm surprised. The alarm goes off in here. The alarm goes off in here when people are getting a new unit, and I guess people are getting a new unit today on July 4th. I appreciate you doing all that because it's hard, right? New dad, that part is, I was trying to do the math with my wife yesterday. I would like to be responsible for half the baby, right? So 12 hours a day. That is freaking hard. You already lose your 12 hours of the day, right? Then you have to somehow sleep. So it's like hopefully 5 to 7 hours. Now you only have 5 or 6 hours left. So it's very, very, very difficult. Being a PE teacher, the content creation is difficult to compact. It's very difficult to do all that. I would recommend maybe 1 to 3 videos a week. Get a resale listing habit of at least 10. And then I wouldn't do more than that. Wait till your kid's a little bit older. For me, I totally understand that I cannot do what I want to do right now because of my baby. It's too hard. There's just not enough hours for me to really crunch because there's just not enough hours in the day. So it sounds weird, but I feel like I'm operating at like a 3 out of 10. There's like so much I can do and I'm not doing. So the potential that everyone has listening right now, your potential to be a better human being is so high. We're all doing just a little bit of it. And I feel like I'm only going to say one sentence on this because I don't want to get canceled. I think that recognizing your true potential is the key to happiness. Because you're like, there's so much more I can do. So it's inspiring versus like some people get hurt by not reaching their potential, but please don't look at it that way. There's just so much more you can do, and I find it inspiring. I meet people that are like, took me all day, now it takes me an hour. Amazing.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to
Exciting.
figure out the meal prep for the baby. That's hard because I want to do protein, veggie, carb for the baby, and I'm like, I should be doing protein, carb, whatever for myself. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at the baby she can't feed herself yet. She can't walk. She can't talk yet. So basically, she's dependent. So I've got to figure out how to do all this stuff. She can't feed herself. So it's a lot, man. It's a lot. Congrats on doing all that stuff because I've been there.
Thank you for the super chat, Big Drift. He says,
Allison, good.
Happy 4th.
Thank
That
you.
shirt makes me want a hot dog.
I that's that. Yes. Me too.
Okay, Bill has a question. Would you recommend YouTube links for high-end collectibles over 1,000 each? Like the videos, I'm assuming.
No, I just recommend you ship it with tracking, with signature confirmation, and shouldn't be an issue. That video is not going to guarantee anything. It won't. It's okay, and I guess it's not too much work to flip on your phone and do it. I'm just saying that from my previous experience, as long as you have a good history with eBay, they got your back. And by good history, I think people have that confused. I mean, like years of doing a good job. Then if you get scammed once or twice, most of the time they give you your money back. I haven't had any issue with that. I sold 12 Nintendo Switches. Somebody scammed me on one of them, and I lost all the profit from the previous items, and eBay refunded me the whole amount because the item that I received back, the weight was different. So they just took care of it. So of course, it's not always that straightforward, and sometimes you will take it on the chin, but I haven't been scammed enough to really care about how many scams there are on eBay. It's just really good clickbait for YouTube, but honestly, there's not that many scams. And somebody help me with how I can get rid of allergies other than local honey, but just sometimes I have allergies and it's super annoying.
Yeah. Neko says, do you always sell with free shipping, or is that determined by the type of product and expected profit margin?
Okay, so this is a great way to think of things. So in the eBay white paper, I guess the big takeaway you would take away from my channel and from our Patreon is only think about what the customer wants. So for me personally, I only think about what customers want. So like for this YouTube channel, I'm thinking best information, short, concise, maybe a Q&A. I don't care how I want to do it. In fact, I realized that the production value doesn't matter that much in a sense that we don't need a set. We just need to answer questions related to reselling. So for the free shipping, you need to think about your customer. In some categories, it's all free shipping. On Amazon, if you're an Amazon seller and you charge for shipping, people will be like, what's wrong with this person? It depends on the category. If you're selling, okay, that being said, if you buy a ladder on Home Depot, on Home Depot or on Amazon, usually they charge for shipping, even on an Amazon listing. So if you're selling ladders, totally reasonable to charge for shipping and to have free local pickup because it's a big bulky item. But on jewelry, I feel like it's almost always free shipping. It's so light, and charging a customer $4.99 on a $200 item is kind of corny. So it depends. It depends on what your customer's experience is. The ultra highest level of customer service, I find that they actually charge for shipping. Because like sometimes people think free shipping is a premium feature, and I think that's not necessarily true. Like premium would be like taking extra care to ship the item. So I've seen before like $1,000 collectible, that's £1, $75 for shipping. I've seen that, and I think it's reasonable. Like maybe it requires a videotape, maybe it requires triple boxing, bubble wrap, maybe it requires hand delivery. I don't know. So it really depends. I think the charging for shipping is reasonable as long as the customer thinks it is.
Gio says, best way to get repeating customers?
There we go.
Question
So I'm gonna blow my nose.
Okay.
It's like my
Remember,
favorite.
you're mic'd.
Okay, that's my favorite question, and I know I'm mic'd. Sorry about the noise.
Allergies. You guys suffering from allergies?
Wow, hopefully that wasn't too gross, guys. I feel so much better. Okay, best way to get repeat customers. You ready?
Yes.
Okay, guys, write this down. This is like super duper advanced eBay. You ready? All right. As you try and scale, this is so freaking important. So please write this down because this really hurt me not knowing this when I was growing. As you try and scale, your overhead goes up. Okay, so this is related to repeat customers, by the way. Your overhead goes up. You need more shelves, you need more space, maybe you get a storage unit, maybe you need to pay electricity, more supplies. Cost of goods is now way higher because you're buying 10 items instead of 5. Spending more, but you don't have any sales yet. Okay? So essentially you're spending all this extra money hoping you get more sales. You double your listing habit from 5 to 10, 10 to 15. Some people go crazy and go from 15 listings a day to 50 listings a day. So now you have all these extra expenses. There is only one way to survive. Okay, you have to have repeat customers, because if you don't have repeat customers, what happens is your average sale price starts to decline because you're selling like, let's say you're selling Tommy Bahama shirts and you have 10, right? When you list one, you're doing okay, but when you list 10 similar Tommy Bahama shirts, now there's maybe only 2 Tommy Bahama shirt buyers per day. You don't get enough Tommy Bahama sales, so your sales drop, your average sale price drops, and now you have all these extra expenses and your sales slow down. Without the repeat customer, you can't survive. So the way to get repeat customers is selling similar things and having a bigger selection. That's the only way. I haven't seen any other version of it. You have to get to the point where people buy 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 of the same item from you and come back to your store and repeat buy. Otherwise, I haven't seen eBay work in the scale of like going from 30 to 50 listings a day. That's why the everything seller struggles past that. Because for Tim, it's difficult to buy a vacuum cleaner and a pair of Nikes, right? So he's capped at making $150,000 profit a year. Maybe he makes more than that, but like, I just feel like it's so hard to grow without the repeat customer because you're degrading your own market. When you list so many things into the same thing, people don't do it. So without being able to maintain that price, you're screwed. And I know it's kind of a depressing way of looking at it, but it didn't really sit in my brain until like maybe 2 years ago that without repeat customers, you can't do this. It's so hard to get a brand new customer into your store that if you're just known for something, they will go back. They will go back. If you download your insights, they'll tell you how many repeat customers you have. You start to recognize the usernames. That's so massive for eBay. If you don't have repeat customers, you're going to be stuck in this. Whatever number of sales you have will be difficult to grow.
Let's see. Bobby Loves to Thrift says, I had a pair of Coach sneakers listed. Only after 2 days, a pop-up came up saying I didn't have a condition stated. I did, and it showed up a list of other things and even an incorrect size. Why? Like it changed, maybe?
That doesn't really happen unless maybe you listed from mobile. Mobile, for me, I find that sometimes a translation of item specifics or condition doesn't go through, and you can't enter condition description very well on mobile. So if you listen on a computer, that's very unusual, but I wouldn't worry about it. That's just one listing. So I wouldn't base anything you do on one thing, just move on.
Suzette says, can I list Tommy Hilfiger or should I worry about Vero? I see it listed and I'm confused.
Every single brand is subject to Vero. Vero is a verified rights owner. So the verified rights owner, the owner of Tommy Hilfiger, the brand, they can ask you to remove the item at any time. So just keep that in mind as you're listing items and keep your ear out to the grapevine. Whatever product you're selling, listen to see if it pops up in the Vero. And if it does, remove it. That's all you can do. People are confused by this because it's gray. eBay is gray market. So once you realize it's gray, it takes all the pressure off. Okay, it's not black and white. There is no you can list this, you can't list that. People who think black and white will 100% fail on eBay. It's not that way. It's gray. There are certain things you can list, and the exact same thing you can't list. Isn't that not confusing? Like you could say, like for example, there's a Nike shoe that you could sell to Iowa, completely legitimate. You sell the same pair of shoes to Austria, suspended for life. Like that's really dramatic for just one or two things. But if you sell Nike shoes, you need to understand the import export of certain styles. That's just up to you. Like if you open a liquor store in these called blue states, and you sell alcohol on Sunday and they don't allow that, you can be arrested. It's your responsibility if you sell liquor in a state that's blue. I think that's true. I don't know what. I used to live in a blue state for alcohol, and like you can't sell it on Sunday, or you can't sell it before 10 a.m. or something, or only certain places can sell it. But it's your job to figure out what the rules are and what you sell. And if you're confused, it's because it's confusing. It's gray. Like there is no one way to do it. I got suspended selling sample sneakers on eBay, even though eBay promotes please sell sample sneakers. If all of you right now sold one pair of these, no one would get suspended. But if you sold 100 of them in one day, you'd probably get suspended. It's really confusing. So there is no one way or the other. The main issue for me is not from Nike, it's more from Managed Payments. Managed Payments doesn't like you selling all one brand. So it is what it is.
Alex B says, how much should I pay people to source clothing from me?
Whatever you can afford. So if your margins are really high, I would recommend keeping your cost of goods, this is going to sound crazy to people, 50% or lower. So 50% of what you sell for minus shipping would be the lowest. Now, people are going to say, Chris, you're crazy. I buy stuff for $1 and sell it for 15. That's, what is that? It's like 6% of what you're selling it for. Why am I willing to pay up to 50%? Because I personally want a higher average sale price. I want to be in the $30 plus range. I told you guys that my goal is 1,000 sales a day at $30. I don't know how to do that, but that's just in my brain. I think 1,000 sales a day, $30 gross. So I'm willing to spend $15 on an item that sells for 30 plus shipping. So if you were sourcing from me and you brought me 100% $30 plus items guaranteed, I could pay you $15 per item and feel pretty good about it. And maybe you shop at the bins and you get it for $2. So that person's killing it. They're making $13 every single sale, selling it to some dummy like me who's willing to do that type of margin. But it depends, right? Some people are like, that's not a big enough margin. And I'm looking for massive quantity. I wouldn't do it unless somebody can provide like thousands and thousands of items. So it depends, right? I'm making it up with a smaller margin with more volume. So this is really confusing because I used to sell hundreds of items a day, and now I sell thousands of items a day and I make similar money because the margins are so different. So it just depends. Depends on what you can afford in your model.
Backwards Junior says, I have a question how I'm not a normal seller. I want to sell my shoes but don't want to get taxed 1099. Is there a way of selling an item in different places online to not get over that $600 profit?
Oh my goodness. Can you please leave our country? My God. Like, why do people not want to pay tax? I don't understand that. What is the issue with that? What is the problem with paying tax? Like, you use roads and use electricity and, oh my God, it's crazy. You should unsubscribe. This channel is only for people who want to pay tax. I know that sounds wild, right? Why would you want to pay tax? So, okay, two things. There's only one way to avoid tax, and that would be, I guess, to collect cash from someone where there's no record, right? So you collect cash from somebody for the transaction, and then part two, you don't report the cash. That would be how you avoid taxes. If the money is collected, you cannot avoid that 1099. Over $600, they're going to report you because that's by law. So I recommend the legal way of avoiding taxes, and I'm not a CPA, so don't sue me, but this video is sponsored by 1-800-ACCOUNTANT. So Call 1-800-ACCOUNTANT and get some professional advice from them right now, and then let me know afterwards your experience from them, because the first call, the $279 consultation, is free. So you go ahead and call them, get some true advice. But I recommend the legal way to offset your tax, which is to incur the cost of inventory this year and postpone the tax for next year. So let me give you an example. You buy this pair of shoes for $70. You sell for $140. You just plus fees or whatever. So you doubled your money. You now have, instead of this shoe, you now have $140. If you were to report this to the IRS, you now owe tax on 70. Does that make sense? You bought it for 70, you net 140, you have $70 extra now. What I recommend you do is instead of being illegal and not reporting your tax, buy 2 pairs of shoes now. So now instead of, this is only cash-based accounting, and don't sue me. Now instead of $70 cash, you have 2 pairs of shoes, okay, that you can now do the same thing and have $280, right? So I recommend you defer your tax by putting it in inventory for the future. I do not recommend you do not pay taxes. That is a wild question. That is a wild question.
Let's see. Another question from Laura C.
Laura, what's up?
Hi, Chris. Happy 4th.
Happy
I was
4th.
thinking of promoting all my listings and raising my prices so I can cover the promoted listing fee. What are your thoughts?
It doesn't work that way. Customers, like if it's $19.99 is the market for, let's say, this shirt. Somebody looked this shirt up on eBay. It's a chubby shirt. I think the market's like $22. If you would mark it up to like $30 and have 25% promoted listings rate, no one's going to click on it. It's too expensive. You can't have the customer pay for promoted listings. That's not how it works. You have to eat it. Oh, guys, the 10 promotions that I talked about earlier, it's around 10. It's like offer to watcher, coupons, sales event plus markdown, coupons, public and private, buyer groups, promoted listings, volume discount, shipping discount, order discount. All of those things cost you money. And they are all, everyone smash the like button, optional. You don't need to do any of them. You can just list an item at the price that you want, like Craigslist Hunter, no promotions, spend your time listing more items and you'll be fine. There are plenty of people in the group who kill it and do not use any promotions. They're optional. Getting your customer to pay for it doesn't make sense. You know what, Christine? We have a 20% off coupon for this $100 pair of shoes, right? So you can use this coupon to save $20, but the coupon costs $20. It doesn't work. No one's going to be like, okay, and then they didn't realize that they paid for the discount. It doesn't work. It doesn't, you can't make them pay for it. How that works is you would mark it up to $120, right? But the store next to you is selling it for $100. It doesn't work. You have to take it on the chin. All the promotions cost money on eBay. And let me explain to you why. You are buying the traffic. Okay, so maybe Christine doesn't care about this pair of shoes, but then you give her the 20% coupon. She's like, oh my God, now I care about these shoes. That's where it comes from. You're buying that traffic, you're buying that interest. So you have to exchange for that.
John Lawson says,
John, what's up?
Chris, is reselling something for someone who is not a super go-getter like yourself?
Is this the John Lawson, the famous John Lawson? Yes, it depends on your level. If you are a hobby seller, and I consider a hobby seller making less than $2,000 a month, you can just casually do it for fun. I just recommend you casually do it intensely. Because like, just like you want to sell one pair of shoes, do it the right way. It'd be done. You don't have like, what does go-getter mean to you guys? Like, do you want, like, if I sold one item, I wouldn't say, you know what? This pair of shoes only comes with the right shoe because I'm just casually doing it. It doesn't work. Like the customer still wants both shoes. So I recommend doing things the right way one time. And what is even a go-getter? Like, I don't even know what that means. Like, I meet people all the time that make me feel so lazy. Like, I don't even know how they do that. Like, let's look at like Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart's in like 100 movies a year. How does he do that? Like, it's amazing. He's in commercials. He's in every single movie. He's like, I don't get how he exists. It's so hard. The economy that Kevin Hart, like his infrastructure is like 300 people. Like, my friend works for Kylie Jenner. When she releases something on her website, 200 people are involved in the launch, and every single time it breaks the internet. Like, that makes me feel so lazy. So that person is a go-getter. I don't know. It's like, I don't know what that means. Also, but I do want to like touch on that for a second, which is like, you can do whatever pace you want. I was hanging out with a friend on the weekend, and she's an attorney, and she said, I'm not like one of those super high attorneys. I don't want to do that. I'm like in this medium attorney range, and that pace is comfortable for me. I don't want to be in the ultra elite. I don't want to be like that. So I'm just going to be in this lower level. But I know I don't want to be in the lowest level where people don't take me seriously and all I do is work 100 hours a week for the top level people. She wants to be in the middle where she can kind of control her own destiny, pick a few things that she likes here and there. But you can't do that in the lower end of anything. You do all the grunt work. So I recommend people casually resell your way to a couple $1,000s a month, and then you can go on another vacation. You can pay off debt faster if that's your goal. You can retire earlier. You can buy yourself fancy stuff if you so please. But my recommendation for everyone, even with people with a full-time job, resell 30 a day. Save half of it. Buy a house. Do something a little bit more passive. Reselling is not passive income, so trade it for something a little bit more passive. Mm-hmm. 2 more questions.
Okay. Bargain Hunter has a question.
Yep.
Does the style and size of text make a difference? I'm assuming they mean in the description.
I think so. I think that the majority of eBay buyers are older. By older, I mean over 30. I think that's older because like under 30, I think there are more people than over 30. Is that wrong?
I don't know. But
somebody please look that
old.
up. I know, we're old. I think that people over 30 are old. Oh, because like if there's more people that are under 30, those are young. That's just how I look at it. Over 30, your eyesight starts to get worse. So on mobile, right? Like I would say like 12 might be the minimum. Below 12 is hard to read. So I would say like 14. Use bullet points. People don't read. Have great pictures because a lot of people will look through your pictures and decide whether or not to buy. They don't read anything. So somebody might have an iPhone 1 too. So we don't know how their technology is. So I recommend great photos is the most important, and then your descriptions, keep it snappy, short, sweet. I recommend, I used 14 font. I think it matters, but not a ton. Final question, guys. Happy 4th of July. Let's get some barbecue.
I need a good one. I think this is interesting. Garrett S. says, Chris, thanks for taking your time for these conversations. Would you sell a vintage UPS uniform hat? I hear of criminals buying and using them for criminal activity, but it's a hat, not a shirt. Any thoughts?
If I was trying to be a criminal and pretend to be a UPS driver, I might buy that hat. But I think it's fine. I think you can't sell USPS or government official stuff. I tried to sell an FBI jacket and it got removed. Mm-hmm. So I think you're not allowed to sell law protection stuff, but UPS hat's probably fine. A vintage hat also is pretty cool, but if you're worried about it, sell it on a different platform. But honestly, I wouldn't worry about a vintage UPS hat. That's cool, and I think if I was going to commit a crime, I would want a uniform and definitely the current hat. Like you wouldn't wear the vintage dope hat because then it would draw attention to yourself. You wouldn't wear Yeezys and to create a crime wearing that vintage hat too. It doesn't make sense. So I wouldn't worry about it. Vintage items usually have no issues too because I've seen people do it, sell like fire department stuff, police stuff, but the uniforms are a little scary. I don't know. Maybe in the chat people can put if you can sell badges or not. I'm not sure you can do that.
Are there
Criminals do
specific
criminals.
rules in
There are
eBay's?
specific rules.
Yeah.
Yep. So I would look in the trust and safety section, and if you have any questions, email eBay. But again, I don't have an issue with a vintage UPS truck hat. Everyone, smash the like button. Consider subscribing. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/resource podcast. We do this Q&A every Monday at 10 a.m. around 10 a.m. and ask us questions. We've been mentoring over 2,000 people. Sponsor this video is 1-800-ACCOUNTANT. So call them. Let me know how it goes. I know their services are expensive, but the idea is to save you money on your taxes, to set it up right. And I recommend setting it up right one time. And in the group, we talk about how to do your accounting and bookkeeping in less than 1 hour a month, or even 1 hour a year, really. Then you give that information to a professional tax preparer, and they'll make sure you're legit. The chances of being audited are almost zero. So just do the right thing. Even for me, I would say I'm a really, really small corporation. I think under $25 million a year, which I'm at, they don't care. They have bigger fish to fry. So as long as you keep track a simple way, people will be able to find, or the IRS will be able to find you if they need to, but they probably don't care. Make sure you talk to a professional. I'm not legal counsel. I'm not a CPA. Talk to a pro. Appreciate you guys. See you next week.
Bye.